I've done 12 of these now, so I have 12 reduced Shakespeares. So I read the play over thousands of times, and then I start cutting out stuff that isn't really necessary, that's repetitious. I mean, because Shakespeare is wordy, and he says the same thing in several different ways, and the poetry is beautiful, and his imagery is beautiful, but there's just some things that have to go. So back in 2000, I think it was 2011, I tackled Henry, because we were going to do it for the Long Island Shakespeare Festival that summer. It took me about 2 months to cut things down from the original 3 hours and change, down to an hour and a half. So I used that cut this time when we decided we were going to be doing Henry. And I recut and added some things back in that I had missed before. And then we added the fights. And so with intermission, it's probably going to run about 2 hours max. What I want the audiences to take away from that is, number one, it's accessible. When the actors know what they're saying, when they're driven by the Stanislavski method with action objective work, and when they're really driving the play like people would drive it, not actors, because actors like to enjoy the moment a little too much at times. But in this play, there is none of that. It's people talking to people, trying to get things from people, keeping the stakes high, because it's a war play, right? I want them to leave with the understanding that, oh, I knew what that meant. I understood what they were saying. When we chose the play last spring, because we were coming off of COVID, we wanted an uplifting play, and Henry V is one of the most inspiring plays that Shakespeare wrote. And I didn't want to do it back in the time period because there's a universality about war. It never ends. I mean, from the beginning of time through it now and into the future, war is always going to be a constant for humankind, right? So I wanted to put it in the future where the weapons were limited, where there was no more gunpowder, there are no guns, tanks, none, the earth is dying, and you have to fight with whatever you have. Now, in this particular case, the very first fight we do at the very top of the show is a pre-show that shows Henry's rise to power after he defeats the rebels' forces. Then throughout the rest of the play, once that's over with and we start with "Oh, for a Muse of Fire," then it's back to its basics and thrust forward 200 years in the future. Scene designer Charlie Whitrick, he's also the chair of the department. We met early on and decided if it's going to be post-apocalyptic, the set obviously has to reflect that. So the set is beams that have been skewed. There's been an atomic attack. And this is one of the areas that's not free from contamination, but at least not as devastating as most of the world is 200 years in the future. So he gave me this beautiful set, like when you look at the stage, it's like a bomb has hit, and it's the crater and everything that comes out from that crater. Andy Woodkemper is my costume designer. He wanted to, when we were first talking about it, I said, I think I want a basic costume for everybody, like black jeans, black t-shirts, and then we add things on, because I have 15 actors playing 34 roles, and one of the actors plays only Henry. So I've got 14 actors playing 33 other roles, so they add things on when they come in as a different character, they take those things off, transition to their next costume, and they enter into the space with that, and with a different character interior, so that even the way they walk or present themselves has transformed them, not just by the amazing costumes that I've gotten from Andy, but through their own physicality as well. Jason Kankel is mentoring Cassidy McMillan, and Cassidy was my designer on 5 Women Wearing the Same Dress, and she's a savant. She's a genius at this. So the areas are going to be defined through lighting, because we go right from the English court into the French court. We go from the French court into Southampton, where all the lower class people hang out. From there, we go into Harfleur, into France, into that attack. And then, I mean, we switch from locale to locale immediately. And her lighting design will reflect that. Stephen Green has built this set, and we got the platforms in really early. So thank God for Stephen Green and his lab, because he gives me now everything that I need, so I can, when I'm blocking, the people aren't just walking across a flat surface. They're able to see what happens when they actually have to run up a ramp, or when they come down into a ramp, or what the slow motion fight does that Lou Felicardi has choreographed on this. Lachlan Loud is the props guy. He also deals with painting and helps on the set as well. Locke always gives me great props, but he had a real challenge on this one, because it's 200 years in the future, right? So he had to, on this, go down into prop storage and find things that looked old, but also we're using a collapsible shovel at times. We're using a razor strop and live blades when we do the daggers. And all these things, it has to mesh so that it looks like some things they dug for and found, some things are brand new, but this is things that they found and they saved, and then they shined up for battle. And then finally, there's Lou Felicardi. He's been my fight choreographer on every show I did for the Long Island Shakespeare Festival, and this guy is a genius. He can use any weaponry you want to use, he choreographs for. And he'll stand there for a minute and he'll watch the fight unfold. And it's like I hate to keep using the word savant, but it's like that. He'll watch. And he'll stop them, and he'll say, okay, now, you move here, you move over here, let's keep that parry up over here. So he's watching the whole thing and constructing this. In the front row is gonna be roped off, because these broadswords have an extension. And I'm sitting there in the front row every night, watching the fights, because I've gotta fix them up. And I'll feel this, I'll see this broadsword coming at me, and I'm watching the rest of the fight, so all I do is like move back, and I'm sitting in the front row, and I think, okay, people are not gonna see this coming. So we've roped that row off, and it's only gonna be second row on, because we also use the front row for secret entrances and exits.